Welcome in everyone. A happy Tuesday. Jesus Christ, let me give myself one of those already. Anyways, welcome in. Joe Quill's here with you, and welcome into another edition of Philly Guy Speaks. And let me fix the lights here because this is not going the way I wanted it to. There we go. So we'll fix that. So welcome in, Joe Quill's here with you, and happy Tuesday. Let me do it again. Jesus Christ. I think in the history of Bleacher Brothers, the Tony Bruno Sports Network, and every iteration of the Tony Bruno show that he's had, I think that is the record for the fastest two bumpty bumps in the history of the Tony Bruno Sports Network / Bleacher Brothers / whatever you want to call it. So congratulations to me. I earned that distinction tonight. And, I'm not afraid of giving myself one of those for something stupid like that. So anyways, coming up on the show tonight, got a lot to talk about here. And, if you're with me here at twitch.tv/Joe Quills, we got a chat box that we can interact back and forth. That's why if you're watching the video, you see that red square there on the right hand side. That will be where you will see our chats as we go along on the video here, because we also upload the video to YouTube, and I do make the audio available as an audio only after the fact as well. So if you follow on the podcast side, you can watch my ugly mug talk. You can see my mug and, all that fun stuff. So anyways, hope everybody's having a good week out there. Me, I'm a little screwed up right now, and that's partially because I ended up messing up my work schedule this week. Now, as you know, I spent 2 weeks I had 2 weeks of vacation, and part of the reason why is the Super Bowl was in Vegas, and I wanted to give myself some extra time because of the fact that I do have friends out there. We try to meet up every time I go out there when somebody else goes out there. My friend Kira was there. She works in Allentown, Pennsylvania, about 90 minutes north of me. We had me coming out there, and and the way that I am, I'm just like, hey, I'm here. If we can get together, that's great. If not, that's fine as well. Whatever, because it's time away from the East Coast for me, even though it was probably colder there most of the time than it was here in Philadelphia, from what I could tell on my weather app. So, I forgot where I was going with this already, so Jesus God. You can tell. Oh, work-wise. So, when I originally had put in my request days off, and what I usually do is whenever we have a weekend that we're working, what I do is I usually request the Tuesday on the back end and the Wednesday on the front end, because that way I don't get a situation. I don't get a situation where I'm working 7-8 days in a row, even though it'll be 2 separate weeks, that sort of thing. But when I was going through the spreadsheet, I just filled in the Wednesday for this week. Now, when you have a vacation at my job, you usually get the Saturday before the vacation week and the Sunday after it. So, because I requested Wednesday off and didn't realize we were closed on Saturday, I got forced to work on Sunday. So, I made fun of myself to a couple of friends. I said I'm an idiot. So, and that's probably why I'm saying it's Wednesday night when it's Tuesday night, and I always stream on Tuesday night. So, I don't know. So that's why I'm so screwed up, and that's why I had to give myself two bumpy bumps there already. So, coming up on the show, I'll talk about the forced sportsmanship in college basketball again. There was another incident last night. I will try to show you the video of it if it is available. Issues with MLB teams and possibly their alternate uniforms at the start of the year. That may be happening. The 2026 All-Star Weekend was announced. I'm not happy about it. And we have the return of the stupid stuff. I prefer using a different word, but I'm trying not to curse. For the stupid stuff I saw segment, there's not one, but two stories. One is an animal on the loose on I-95 this morning. If you're in the Philadelphia area, you know exactly what it is. If you follow me on Twitter at Joe Quills, I made a joke about it with my gambling degeneracy with Bleacher Brothers. And how you win Powerball, but really don't. I'll get into that. And since I am the gambling degenerate of Bleacher Brothers, I'm also bringing back the Philly Fade for a special Tuesday night edition. I have one game that I'm going to give you, and this is a stone cold lock, as Tony Bruno would say. And I also gave out a pick on his show while I was watching his show on YouTube. So I gave out today on the show, and it was Tim Brando approved because Tony mentioned it. And when Tim Brando was calling into his show around 3:30 today, I said today in Tony Bruno's chat, I was watching via YouTube, I said, and I said it on the Bleacher Brothers show at 8 o'clock when they started, I said there, Stone Cold, I get this is a guaranteed winner. I didn't use Stone Cold Lock, but Tony might have to Tim Brando. I said take Creighton money line over Connecticut because Creighton, they have a home court advantage in the Big East because of the fact that they're all the way in the middle of the country, because the Big East isn't the Big East, it's the big eastern half of the country conference. And Creighton is putting a beat down on UConn right now. They're up 64-46 with about 13 minutes left in the game. So it looks like number one is going to go down. Now, my thinking when I gave that pick was that, okay, they blew the doors off of Marquette. And I'm thinking to myself, letdown game? Because you got to realize these are young kids. They're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. And get that bad game out of the way in February. That way, when March comes around, you're peaking at the right time. And the next thing you know, you're cutting down the nets. We're talking about one shining moment, blah, blah, blah. You know the rest. So I will have a pick for tomorrow night for college basketball, and just one game, because this is a thing that has stood the test of time, at least after the new year. So I will give you that as well. And it's up. They got 69. Congratulations, Creighton! You hit 69 points, and they are up 23, 69-46. An biblical beatdown, and Connecticut may lose and still be the number one team, depending on how bad they destroy Villanova on Saturday night, which will be a nationally televised game on Fox. So we'll see. So, anyways, let's get to it here tonight on this Tuesday, which is February the 20th. Pitchers or catchers have reported, and but we'll get to baseball in a moment. But I want to bring up one thing here, and I'm going to tell you right now. If you know me, I am not a fan of forced sportsmanship, as I call it. And if you watch this game on Fox while you're watching the show, and I know some of you may do that, and it's okay because we still have the audio aspect of the show as well. So one thing that I cannot stand is forced sportsmanship. Now, what do I mean by that? And I've gone through this a couple of times in the past. There was what I call forced sportsmanship is, and mind you, these kids that are in college are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, that range. So I think that they are old enough to say, hey, I'm an adult here, because you can vote at 18. In most states you can purchase cigarettes, but they've been weaning that up so that you wean off smoking in society in general. You can vote, you can go to war, you can do all that. You can drive a license at 16 or 17 depending on the state. But the NCAA, especially in basketball, wants you to line up in a certain way, and you got to shake hands with the other team. Good game, good game, good game. Now, I'm the person who says, okay, I don't care if you shake hands with the other team after the game, because sometimes you got to appreciate the other team. And my opinion is, I would rather see an informal handshake. And if you're, especially with what happened last night, you do not have, it turns into an ugly scene. And let me pull up this article here. Let me see if it's still the video is still available here first. I'm just going to pull it off of the ESPN site because of the fact that that's where I saw it. And it was from this morning. Here it is. I actually posted it last night. Okay, so there was a game in the Southland Conference, and that's the conference right next to the brother and sister conference, where people wonder if they're legally brother and sister, but you do have a conference there of smaller Division I conference schools. I believe their football programs, if they have one, are 1AA. So we had Texas A&MCommerce playing University of Incarnate Word, or just Incarnate Word. It's UIW for the abbreviation. Well, they got into a brawl after the handshake. So let me pull this up here and go to the website. There's the thing. Hopefully the video will play the way I want it to. All right, so let me get through this video here. Hi. So let me get through this video. There we go. Oops. Let me hit pause there. Okay, so Texas A&MCommerce wins 76-72. And hopefully you'll get to hear this. Because if not, I'm an idiot. But let's go back over here. Screen capture. And yes, I know the screen went black. Wait a second. Hey, Maddie, welcome aboard. Let me just go here. Okay, I gotta do it this way. So Maddie, I'm not gonna be able to, well, I'll be able to see it's right over here. So I apologize. It's just, this just isn't coming up the way I'd hoped. Let me just fix this real quick. There we go. Now we got it. So there we go. So I'm going to play the video here. You'll see what's going on here. There we go. Unmute. And voila.
UIW moves to 3-10. And with, oh no, this is not good. This is really not good. We've got punches being thrown. This is really bad. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, full team fight. Coaches in the middle of it. Wouldn't be surprised. Someone got a nick on the face there.
This is not what you want to see after
That close of a game.
it has been a great game. We've got everything going on right now. We still have guys running after people. Oh my
Someone
goodness.
in the crowd was hurt and hit. Oh, it looks like a young girl.
Well, we got a manager that has blood on his face, and we still got guys that need to get to the locker room.
Everyone's still rallying here.
We need to get this. We need to get this settled. We finally have gotten some people to the locker room. So what was such a great game just ended in a way no one wants to see. UIW moves to 3-10.
Yeah, Maddie, I know. Whoa, what the F. So, this was a close game that went overtime. Texas A&MCommerce played Incarnate Word in a Southland Conference game. It was the second matchup between the two schools, and I do not think that they'll end up playing each other in the conference tournament. I don't know how their conference bracket works or who qualifies or if everybody qualifies. Only because some conferences have gimmick brackets where, oh, well, we're going to make the 8, 9, and 10 seeds play 4 games before you get to play the number 1 seed in the semifinals. Something like that, that goofy stuff that some conferences do. But in this case, you saw the brawl, and it started on a handshake line. Now, if you know me, I just think that once you get beyond high school, you're an adult. And you should have the right as an adult to opt out of being in a handshake line because, you know, it's not tradition like it is in the NHL where you see it at the end of every playoff series. That's tradition. I have no problem with that. I'm not messing with tradition. They do it as well. You saw it in the 2 outdoor games this weekend at the Meadowlands. That's because it's the tradition of the playoffs and special events that they will do something like that. But, you know, baseball, you don't see it. You don't have the 2 teams shaking hands in pro sports. I think you do see it in college baseball, but that's because it's NCAA. But in terms of this, my opinion, I said it in chat on the Tony Bruno Sports Network when they mentioned this earlier today. I said that if you do not have this forced sportsmanship stuff where not only do you have to get into a line, you have to get into a line in a certain way, and you got to be in line and ready to shake hands with the other team while the other team's celebrating a championship on the court. Because, you know, you see it with you saw it the one year when Villanova hit that walk-off 3-pointer to win the championship against North Carolina. North Carolina was all set to shake hands. They're all in line. And here's Villanova celebrating because they hit a buzzer beater to win the championship. So sometimes common sense takes over. And now, granted, this is a 1 in a million chance it's happened twice this year. And I'm the firm believer that, you know, you should be able to opt out because of the fact that, you know, you're talking about adults here. It isn't like high school, which is borderline to me, because you should know what sportsmanship is like, because, you know, you're playing, I mean, even with me playing Little League Baseball, there was a reason why we practiced once or twice a week. There was a reason why you played games a couple of times. There's a reason why, you know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and, you know, there's a reason why, because in my opinion, you learn to win and lose with both respect and dignity. You know, you don't rub it in on somebody. You know, you don't spike that football, so to speak, when you're up 35-0 in a baseball game, in a football game, any type of game. You know, even if it's your arch rival that you're playing, in my opinion. But even though I do have rules on how to run up the score on somebody, and but seriously, what happened last night in UIW, in my opinion, could have been prevented. And I know that there will be people that will listen to this, watch this after the fact. And the one thing I will tell you, feel free to comment at Joe Quills. Feel free to shoot that tweet at me. You know, comment on this video on YouTube when this uploads later tonight. You know, I am all for constructive criticism, and I'm all about giving you guys a topic and something to think about, because I don't want to be like sports radio or be like Screamin' A. Smith and whoever he's with this week with Molly Karam. Now, rumor has it that Screamin' A had to go to the hospital during the NBA All-Star weekend because Molly heard that he was speechless after Micah Parsons almost broke his ankles in a game of pickup at All-Star weekend. But seriously, going back to this. Now, we saw the massive brawl, and I showed that, and that was courtesy of ESPN Plus. Now, from what I hear, it was the 83rd string announcers calling that game last night. Now, if it was the 82nd string, they were on ESPN 88. But yeah, I mean, a massive brawl. You saw what happened. Now, even with that, because they were kind of panning away from the center of the court for whatever reason, and you saw that they were doing the handshake line, and next thing you know, you see a couple of people starting to fight, and then it just spills over to basically everybody on both teams going at it. It involved multiple players from both squads throwing punches at one another, but we don't know what triggered it. Now, the one coach said, the Lions coach, which I believe is Texas A&MCommerce, because I think UIW is the Cardinals or the Redbirds. Texas A&M Commerce coach Jarrett Van Rosenberg called the first outing a dogfight in his post-game radio show. So there may have been something brewing from that first game that carried over to this game. And with college basketball, it's probably the case. You know, probably something happened. They're probably talking trash. They're two bottom feeder teams in the league anyway, so I don't know what they were, you know. But, you know, they're probably not going to face each other again until next January at the earliest. But, you know, I'm sure that the Southland Conference, if these two teams do end up facing each other, will have to tell these teams, hey, you start any crap, you're gone. We got zero tolerance here. We're not going to have a replay at the end of that game. And they may even tell the teams, don't shake hands after the game. Who knows? But I'm a firm believer that, you know, once you get to a certain age, do you really need to shake hands? Now, the NBA, I don't think they do. I think it's more informal. NFL's definitely informal. Even college football's informal, from what I've seen in games. But, you know, by the time they get to that point, they're either going to the head coach who won the game, or they're going to the star player. And, you know, there's a mob scene on the field. But I just think that the NCAA needs to take a stand and say, you know what? Maybe we need to stop this because maybe we are the cause of the problem. But you know what? They're not going to. You know why? Because they're all about the money. And they're about the one shining moment at the end of the day, at the end of the season. And the league's gonna, the NCAA is about to make a ton of money off of these kids. Now, granted, the kids can still make some money through NIL, but we're going to see what happens with this and what the ramifications of everybody dropping gloves like it's the Flyers and the Rangers in 1974 or whatever. But now, as you saw in the video, several players on the floor and multiple pileups as the fight continued. A young girl was hurt in the crowd. That's what that female announcer said on the video. One of the team managers had blood on his face. Whether it was his own or somebody else's, that's unclear. But there was no information from authorities or the schools on the injuries as of this article that I printed up this morning. Texas A&MCommerce and Incarnate Word issued apologies for behavior exhibited by our respective men's basketball programs. The statement said there's no place in college sports for such actions. The unsportsmanlike conduct that occurred after the game does not reflect the values of the university involved, as well as the Southland Conference and their member institutions. The matter is currently being reviewed collectively by the conference office and both institutions, as the safety of our student athletes, staff, and fans is our primary concern. The Southland Conference made a brief statement that the end of game switch is aware of the end of game situation. We're working closely with both universities to review the footage and issue appropriate disciplinary action. So you know something's going to come down, probably be in the next day or two. Unsportsmanlike behavior is unacceptable in the Southland Conference, and the safety of our student athletes, spectators, and officials remain a top priority. And as I said, the teams are in the bottom of the conference standings, with each entering Monday's game with 3 league wins. In Texas A&M Conference won the first meetings. They won both meetings there, but I just think that this forced sportsmanship, as I call it, needs to go away. I can understand high school because it's 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. I can understand that. But it's kind of like a kid on a training wheel, on a bike with training wheels, or whatever you want to describe here. Eventually you got to do your own thing. And I just think that you have to realize that sometimes you just have to alrighty. Hold on a second. And I apologize, I'm doing this here as well. And I apologize because I'm trying to remove that thing there. And so anyway, every once in a while you get these bots, spammers, scammers, whatever. And eventually, and every once in a while they do pop in here. So I'm just trying to find what I'm looking for here. And you can tell that I am not a mod on any other site because it's like, where is it? Activity, powers list, settings. Anyways, it's there, but you know, I will figure it out another time. So, unfortunately, that's going to be on there. So, but that person's banned from this site. So, so. And I guess I have to become a mod here because on another site, because that way I can learn how to use this. Okay, so one of my moderators is in here and they did that for me, so thank you very much. I already blocked them, so I don't know, somebody, unless I did it myself somehow, I don't know. But either way, they're gone. They're history. So I guess it's a good time to get to my next part here. And, you know, that's as unnecessary as for sportsmanship in sports. So I'm going to leave that in the audio and, you know, just a sign that I need to stop with that, stop people from doing that stupid stuff. And I know I have a couple of moderators here, and you know, over time, you know, once we get more people, you know, the more you get people to watch, you know, that's how I envision expanding the moderator roles. And you know, you got to have somebody you can trust and all that. So, anyways, on to baseball. Now, I shared this in SJ's Discord last night, and now the one thing is the new Nike jerseys, which are the Nike designed Fanatics manufactured jerseys. They're the Nike Vapor Premier jerseys. Well, they have not gone over well. They said, you know, there's all Major League Baseball is, you know, the players have not liked these jerseys one bit. I think the Major League Baseball Players Association is actually grieving about these uniforms. And this article I got from what site did I get it from? Let me find out here. I got it from Phillies Nation on Facebook, and you know, you click the article, blah blah blah, whatever. But Derek Gould of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch reported that a reporter over the weekend that his teams are shifting to this new Nike-designed Fanatics-based jersey, manufactured jerseys. They are not certain if alternate jerseys will be available on time for the start of the season. Now, for the Phillies, my hometown team, that would mean that they would be without their 2 home alternate uniforms. The cream alternates that they wear on day games, which what I feel should be the permanent home uniforms, and the powder blue throwbacks, which I wish they would just get rid of, because, you know, powder blue was created by a bunch of people that were probably high on dope, psychedelics, pot, you name it. But the Phillies wear those blue throwbacks on Thursday home games. So Phillies Nation first reported last year that the red alternate tops have been shelved for 2024. They need to bring them back. They're shelved both the spring training jerseys and for getaway day jerseys during the road on the regular season. They fell victim to the Nike 4+1 rule, which basically means that you have 4 uniforms, whether it's the home, the road, an alternate top, the powdered blue crap, you know, stuff like that. So they had to eliminate one of the 5 jerseys that they had in their rotation last year, so they got rid of the red top, which was a bad idea in my opinion. Now the Phillies will be getting a 5th jersey, which is the City Connect jersey. That's why it's the 4+1. They're going to be one of 9 teams that will get City Connect jerseys this season, along with the Tigers, Guardians, Cardinals, Dodgers. Dodgers already have one, unless they're changing it up. The Mets, the Twins, the Rays, and the Blue Jays. Now, the Philly one has been leaked, and I'm not going to find it right now. You know, that's something for another day. But now, it has not been announced the date for when the full City Connect uniforms will be revealed. Will be unveiled. It's unclear if the production dates will affect the rollout or if Nike and Fanatics are prioritizing the City Connect jerseys as opposed to the other alternate threads. So, if the Phillies don't have their cream jerseys, and March 30th and March 31st is 2 day games, you know, they're classified as day games because the Saturday games at 4:05 start. The Sunday game, Easter Sunday, is a 1:35 game, I believe. The Phillies would just wear their regular pinstripe jerseys. So, and they'll have their gray jerseys available to them for all their road games. But they won't have those 2 alternate jerseys. So, so if your team has an alternate jersey, well, most teams do. The Yankees are the only team that don't, or so it seems. They will have, you know, these 9 teams will have their new City Connects. I think most of the teams, I think about 15 have City Connects now. You know, my favorite is the Boston Red Sox one, which was the first one. And, you know, you're saying, oh, blue and yellow and blue. No, they're the Red Sox, not the blue and yellow Sox. Well, once you realize why the background behind the City Connect uniforms, some of them make sense, some do not, and some just look atrocious no matter what the story is. But in my opinion, the Red Sox are the best City Connect jerseys. But we do have issues with that. And I joked around. I said, I guess the child labor for the Fanatics are not as good as the Nike child labor. And I said that as a joke, and, you know, I'm sure somebody will get pissed off at me for saying that. But Pork Chop, welcome in. How you doing tonight? And just to let you know, I did survive Vegas. Well, you were here Thursday night, I believe. And I got to hang out with the guys on last Saturday night. So, on to one other story here. And let me just say that I have to give the National Hockey League one of those. Why is that? Well, as you know, 2026 is the 250th birthday of the United States of America, and I take that seriously, being in Philadelphia and being in the cradle of liberty. And when I was watching a hockey game on Sunday while I was working, I saw on the bottom of the screen that the New York Islanders are going to host the 2026 NHL All-Star game at the UBS Arena in Elmont, New York, adjacent to Belmont Park Racetrack. They announced that on Sunday. Now, the dates for dates and times for NHL All-Star Weekend will be announced at a later date. But I will tell you this: I am not happy about this, because I figured, being that it was 2026, the 250th birthday of America, like they did in 1976, where the NBA All-Star Game, the NHL All-Star Game, and the MLB All-Star Game were all in the city of Philadelphia. The NHL, and from what I saw when I did some research with the NBA, they are doing that in other cities. So now, the only thing that I can imagine that will give me one of those instead of the NBA and the NHL is the fact that the owners for the Flyers and the Sixers chose to go another way, and they said, no, we can't do it. But, you figure with 2026 and everything, the Flyers haven't hosted an All-Star game in many years. The Sixers haven't done it since the early 2000s, so they're getting almost to that point where they would be up for hosting. So I'm hoping we don't think it's a good idea, rather than the NHL just saying, I need an Italian guy to say Vaffanculo for me. But I gotta mute my Facebook because now I'm getting hit with IMs. But the NHL All-Star Game will be in New York on Long Island, and I understand why. It's a new arena. It's kind of like the NFL and the Super Bowl. You build a new stadium, and if you have a roof on it or in your warm climate, you get the game. You get at least one Super Bowl. LA gets a second Super Bowl in a couple of years. San Francisco gets Super Bowl 60. LA is 61. 59 is New Orleans, and that's because it's a warmer weather site. And I say warmer because it does get pretty cold there, and I am hoping I get to be on Radio Row again next year, because Radio Row was a blast for me, even though it was a lot of work. Got to meet some people. Even got to tell Greg Papa how the overtime works in the NFL. But we talked about that on Thursday. But, and of course, Gary Bettman, we've been looking forward to UBS Arena playing host to one of our major league events since before the construction of this wonderful arena began. Blah, blah, blah. Now, there's no All-Star game next year, because the 2025 game will not be held because of the Four Nations Face-Off next season, which is a tournament featuring the U.S., Canada, Sweden, and Finland. Now, with the Finland team, now, are they going to honor Jimmy Buffett by getting in two lines, a line to the left and a line to the right? Finns to the left, Finns to the right. All right, bad joke. So the 2026 All-Star Game will be in advance of the Winter Olympics in Milan, Italy. So what I'm thinking, and I imagine that you could have private airplanes going from here in Philly to Italy. I know that they go to Rome, but I doubt they'd go to Milan. But let me just see one thing. 2026. So the opening ceremonies are February 6th. So if this statement holds true that it's going to be a precursor to the precursor to the Olympics, where they'll have it probably the Sunday before. So I imagine that the All-Star game will be either January 31st, which is a Saturday in 2026, or February 1st, and the league will shut down for a couple of weeks. I imagine that's the case, but I'm not happy about the decision that they made here because, in my opinion, celebrate 250 in America, even though some people say America, we need to make America great again. Some will say, you know, or in my case, that America never was great. Pretty good, okay. And that's one thing that I give people when they start going MAGA on me, because I just don't want to deal with any political, whether it's left or right. I will just tell people when especially MAGA, they'll say, "Oh, make America great again." Okay, well, if that's the case, when was America great? Because you're admitting that America was great at some time. And I will be intellectually defending my statement as opposed to being make America great again. Well, when was it great? Yeah. But anyways, but the NBA, from what I saw, they're going to be in LA once again in 2026. But oh God, SJ is here. Everybody hide. Oh, hi, SJ. But I'm not happy that the NHL All-Star game is going to be on Long Island. I'm doing good. How are you? She's alive. Yeah, you're... what did you say what to me for? Yeah, I do want to say one thing. My trip was fun once I got to Saturday. Now, granted, I was playing with limited funds all week and I wasn't doing well. And then finally on Wednesday, I started making some money. I even sent you a text on Wednesday night Eastern time, that I made up about $350 on the horses. But I did give some of it back before I came home. So, but it was nice cashing in a 3 tickets that totaled $370 some when I had been ice cold on the horses, and I went back to being ice cold. Gave them a donation, yeah. Well, not a complete donation. I did take some of it home, and I ended up making $100 on the slot machines in the airport. That's another thing I'd have to show you if we ever go to Vegas. Is I'd have to show you that they do have slot machines in the casinos. But did I enjoy my time? Yeah. Once Saturday came around, because Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday was a ton of work. I was telling Greg Papa, the play-by-play announcer for the Niners, who was the Greg Papa, who was the play-by-play guy, radio play-by-play guy for the Niners, who, just to let you know, just a little fun fact, his brother Gary Papa was a sports anchor for the ABC affiliate here in Philadelphia for like 15, 20 years before he passed away about 15 years ago from cancer. So that's why we respect Greg Papa, but not the rest of the 49ers. So I was explaining to him on the Wednesday Tony Bruno Sports Network stream how that overtime worked. And I said as well how, the way that the rules are set up, a playoff game could very easily go double overtime if you hold the ball for 10 minutes, which they held for 7 minutes and 8 minutes or however it worked out. And I still haven't watched that game yet. I'm probably going to watch it tomorrow because I'm off. Because I'm an idiot and I forced myself into working Sunday because I thought that I was going to work this Saturday. Here we're closed next week, this upcoming weekend. So I gave myself about 3 of those already. So, but yeah, it's just, I had a lot of fun. Got to hang out with my friends in Vegas. The guys from the Free For All show. I should say guys and girls, guys and gals, men and women. Good to see all of them because I'm here on the East Coast, they're on the West Coast. And it was so much fun, and but the issue that you're describing, I don't wish that on anybody. And Sur, welcome in. Was it your horse? No. Forgive me, and once again, if you're new to the show or you're watching ahead of time, just to let you guys know, if I mispronounce your name, it's not done on purpose, so don't be offended by that. So if you're listening to this after the fact or you're watching the video on demand, if you come onto the live show and you watch the live stream at twitch.tv/JoeQuills, it does, it's not done on purpose. So just to introduce myself to you, Ensor, and if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I apologize. My name's Joe Quills. I'm a part-time streamer here on Twitch. And the way that I feel, and I do sports streams, and eventually over time I am going to do some gaming streams. I do know that I probably will be doing Out of the Park 25, which isn't exactly the best game to stream on here, but it's a fun stream and you can talk and do things like that and be like doing all different things. But so Ensor is one of your friends, SJ? No, I do not like the Celtics or the Yankees. Now, granted, I have other teams that I can be more of a rival with in baseball, with the Braves and the Mets. Have you been to Assad's Hot Chicken yet? No, I have not. And just to let you know, because SJ, that is a place here in Philadelphia, and there's a couple of different locations here. Assad's Hot Chicken, it's like a Nashville chicken type place. Because there is one, I believe. Yeah, there is one right at the right at Cotman and the Boulevard. There's one there. I thought there was a couple other places in the Northeast. And forgive me, I'm thinking aloud here. Menu, what we do, careers. Yeah, there's a couple of different places. I just have never tried them out. Oh no, there's There are literally two right around the corner from me. Um, there is one that I was talking about at 7300 Roosevelt Boulevard, which is Cottman and the Boulevard, Route 1 and Route 73. That is a place that is, it's a little stand on the property of a gas station. There's one at 2327 Cottman Avenue. And let's see. I gotta pull that up now because I don't know where this other one is. 2327 Cottman Avenue. Oh, you know what it is? It's actually inside the mall as opposed to being at that gas station. I know where it is now. Okay. See, the thing is, when I see Cottman Avenue, I'm thinking of my 100 block of the street that I live on that's not far from there. And I get a little screwed up with the mall location because you have like 2 or 3 different blocks in there. Um, so I admit I've never been to Asad's Chicken. I probably won't do it till I get my checkup in a couple of weeks. So maybe I try it in a couple of weeks. But I admit I haven't tried it yet. But the 2 stands that they do have in Philadelphia around me are like little stands. One's in the mall, one's at the gas station. Well, outside the gas station, but right there on the property. And there is one in Ben Salem, a couple blocks from my Church of the Holy Trifectas, Parks Racing. Parks Racing is $29.99, Street Road in Ben Salem. This is in the 2500 block, so it's closer to the river, so probably around Knights Road. I don't know if it's a little stand or it's an actually go into the restaurant type thing, but yeah, I definitely will have to check that. So, but just to catch up on the chat here, a championship will never be won with Joel. Meh. I mean, I think he got the right coach. It's just that with the fact that Joel had a freak knee injury there, and he also got hit in the jimmies there on that same play where the guy fell on his knee, and when he came back down, his leg came down right on his balls. And of course, SJ is doing the shamrock and the basketballs and everything, and yeah. But I will tell you one thing, and I mean, with the type of injury that they described here, I mean, you hear that, oh, he's going to go under the arthroscope, or he's going to do this. The injury was this. It's a torn this. It's a sprain this, sprain that. I never heard of the way that they describe it. It's like the flap of the meniscus or something like that. But I'll tell you what. If Embiid comes back and he has a couple of weeks to get ready for the playoffs, I would not be surprised if they upset a Milwaukee, a New York Knicks. They're not beating Dallas. I mean, they're not beating Boston. I think SJ and SJ agree that they're not beating Boston. And no, we're not having a wager on that because I lost my one wager, and no, Doc Rivers loses in the second round. He did it twice with the Sixers, and he's done it numerous times, and he blows 3-1 leads in playoffs and everything. He's, I mean, I kind of like the move that they made. They took a shot on him, but you know what? It's just that he just can't get over the top, and he always loses in Game 7. So, and, last year, the Sixers should have beaten the Celtics in 6. And SJ said it, Sixers need a third star. I agree, and they are a type of guy. They are a team that needs a third star. Um, I don't necessarily think the window is closed. I think closing is the better form of the word close there. But I could be wrong. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if Joel says, keep this on the down low. And I've said it a few times. Um, I will not be surprised. And you can disagree with me, SJ, because you are my NBA basketball aficionado. I will say this. I will not be surprised if Joel Embiid goes on the down low with Daryl Morey, unlike what, titties over titles Mr. James Harden did in the offseason. Um, there's a way of asking out of the city off of a team to be traded professionally. What James Harden did was not. And I think that if you can say, hey, listen, it's not working out here. I know my career does have many years left. Can you send me to another team and maybe I can win a title with them? I'm sure I can get you a good amount of picks or players or whatever. But basketball is quirky with their salary cap as opposed to others. But and Joel Embiid was the MVP. Yeah, I mean that was the most dominant performance by a center since Wilt Chamberlain had those 20,000 women. But but and also remember, he's been in the league what 8 or 9 years. Remember, he missed 2 full seasons between his back, his knees, and God knows what else. And thank you for following as well, and sir. You know, and I'm not gonna lie. I think he's a great player, and he's one of those foreign players that the one thing that we began to see 20, 30 years ago when more and more foreign players um, came into the league, we started seeing the the taller players, the 7-footers like a Nowitzki, Embiid now, um, Luka Doncic, where you know they're not afraid of going to the outside. But Embiid can play both. But like SJ said, you need more people around. Joey Poon, welcome in. I admit I don't know who that is. But anyways, welcome in. I'm Joe Quills. I'm a part-time streamer here on Twitch. And, I do mostly sports here. I'm eventually going to get into gaming. But, welcome in. And, hopefully you're having a good night wherever you are. And SJ, I get the feeling that I know that person, so don't ban them unless somebody really goes off the deep end. But yeah, it's I live around the block over on Cottman Avenue. And what's gonna bug me now, SJ? If I know this person, it's like they're probably going to see me. They're probably going to see me in Acme. They're going to see me in Target. They're going to see me at Giant. And they're going to probably see me walking the mall, morning stroll to Dunkin', and they're going to be saying to me, "Hey, idiot, don't you remember me from last night?" And I'll be like, and I'll be thinking to myself,
who the fuck is that guy?
So, SJ, I know, I just, it's just not connecting with me, and that's what happens when you have people screaming in your ear for 8 hours, and, well, 7.5 hours, because I had a half an hour meeting today at work, but the names aren't connecting. And I'm sure that I'm going to get an IM, a text, hopefully not a phone call, because I'm not answering your call this time of night. I don't care. I actually don't like to talk on the phone after a long day of work. But I will tell you this, it's just not connecting who this person is, who those two people are, and that's fine. But I get the feeling everyone named Joe has somewhat of a connection. Yeah, I agree. I mean, but it's not like it's, but it's not like it's, but it's not like it's Kyle, Texas. And SJ, you know our friend Kyle King. In Kyle, Texas, they have a Kyle convention in Kyle, Texas, I believe. So it's kind of like that, but not as not as not as not as obvious here. But I'm gonna do a test here, SJ. And SJ, you don't know who I said I was on the Bleacher Brothers show tonight, and I am going to test our two new people, Enser and Joey Poon. I don't even know what OLIPOP is, but anyways, I'm going to ask this question. And if you know my connection with the Bleacher Brothers and the antics I pulled in the first half hour of the Bleacher Brothers show tonight, I made a telephone call tonight. And it's going to lead to my first segment of the Stupid Shit I Saw segment. If you know who I am, and you know the pseudonym that I gave AJ Johnson tonight, if you know who it is, and SJ, I will have to tell you this story later because they were testing the phones, so I decided this is my time to be the guinea pig for the show, because I didn't do it because the Monday night show, they had one guy who said he was in a prison, another guy was doing this, and another guy was doing that. If Joey Poon or Enser know who I pretended who I was when I called in the Bleacher Brothers show tonight, let me know in the chat. If not, I can eliminate my Bleacher Brothers friends. And SJ, you will never get this, so don't even try. Okay, so Joey Poon. Yeah, that's somebody from the Bleacher Brothers, SJ. So, yeah, it's definitely somebody from Bleacher Brothers because, you know what? Screw it. Let's get to the story that I was referencing today. All right. I think I know who it is. It's AJ? Oh man. Oh man. Yeah. I see that, the one. uh yeah, I mean, so basically what happened was, since I believe this is AJ, even though he didn't admit to it. Um what happened was they were testing the machines, and we got to this story here. Now, the one thing is, we do have an unofficial horse of the Bleacher Brothers, and his name is Uncle Ernie. And the reason why he's the unofficial horse is AJ Johnson, the fearless leader of the Bleacher Brothers. He's been in contact and has met and talked numerous times with the owner of Uncle Ernie. Um, so Uncle Ernie was had a layoff from the summer, and what this owner does is, when the winter comes along, um, um, they're having their little conversation there. I'll let them have their conversation. Um, the horse was getting back into the swing of things with training sessions, as they call them, workouts at Palm Beach Training Center, which is in South Florida. So, so, anyways, um, so we had a, um, so I let AJ know, because I get the alerts for um, Uncle Ernie and a few other horses I keep an eye on, even if I don't play them. So I'm watching the races yesterday, and I plunked my final $10 down in my Twin Spires account, and he lost. He finished fourth. So, I said, joking around today after seeing this, that, I wonder if he escaped. So here's the first stupid shit that I saw story. And this is from this morning, and I'm going to play this video. I don't even have to read the article, but somehow this horse ended up on 995. And let me share my screen here again. Go back to the website, screen capture, and later, Joey Poon, or AJ, or whoever the hell you are. Uh, I'm sure I'm going to be getting a text in a couple of minutes as well. But, you know, that's the. I got a tape. Okay. But anyways, here's the video from the story, and it's from. This is actually from the evening news, but this made the news early this morning. Oh, hold on. Now we'll play it. Yeah, so that's the news that I saw this morning on the, I saw it on the 12 o'clock news when I started work. I started work at 11:30, but um, but yeah, it was a funny story, and of course, because we have the unofficial horse of Bleacher Brothers, I posted on Twitter and SJ. You can probably find it because I didn't tweet too much today. Um, Matter of fact, I'm going to show you that tweet. Screw it. It's got an F word in it, but who cares at this point? Um, Here's my tweet from this morning, and let me zoom in on it only because it's a little blurry to me. But then again, so in true Bleacher Brothers fashion, I said, I think Uncle Ernie said, fuck this shit, I'm going back to Florida. See, and that's a little inside joke that we have because I've been giving AJ some updates on him because he had 5 different workouts over a 6-week period. So I was giving him that update because of the fact that he was running. That horse was loose, and it's a little inside joke between the two of us. But I do want to share one other story here, and this is related from 2 years ago. And I actually saw it. I saw the story a couple years ago. Now, Ellis Park is extreme northern Kentucky at the far western end of the state. It's in the central time zone, actually. But the one thing that you learn when you go into Google Maps, sometimes if you look on Google Maps, you'll see some quirks in the map. Like if you just look at a regular map and you don't zoom all the way in, you think, oh, Ohio River is the border between Indiana and Kentucky, but it really isn't because there's like 2 miles of Kentucky on the northern side of the Ohio River in that part of Henderson, Kentucky. But here's an interesting story that I thought of when I heard about this horse running on I-95 and correlating it to Uncle Ernie here. So let me play this video here. Probably gonna have to get through the ad here. Yep. Okay. So this is from 2 summers ago, and this was from Ellis Park in Kentucky, and he ended up 10 miles away in Evansville, Indiana.
Look at this video sent in from an eyewitness news viewer. Officials say that a horse bucked its rider and escaped the track before that first. Well, caught on camera, a racehorse escaped from Ellis Park and ran up Highway 41 onto Veterans Memorial Parkway. Take a look at this video sent in from an eyewitness news viewer. Officials say that a horse bucked its rider and escaped the track before that first race around 1 o'clock this afternoon. The horse ran alongside traffic on Highway 41 and eventually ended up on Veterans Memorial Parkway at Waterworks Road. That's near the wastewater treatment plant. And it just so happened that Posey County Sheriff Tom Latham was in the area. He was able to stop that horse. The owner then came to get the horse. We're told that that horse has minor cuts and scrapes, but is expected to be okay. What?
So yeah, that's what I thought of when I first saw that. So, but the only difference is you can tell that that video from 2 years ago, that horse was very green, as we call it, where it was not mature or understands the racing game or anything like that, because you can see that horse was all over the highway. Whereas that horse that I was calling Uncle Ernie when he really wasn't, if you notice when they showed him on that video, he was always next to that guardrail or that median. So he was always near there. So that tells me that that is a former racehorse of some sort, whether it's a whether it's a thoroughbred horse or a harness horse. The way it was galloping, it almost seemed like it was a harness horse, but I don't know. But you saw that map and where they think he came from and all that. It was a 6-7 mile run, and just some weird. I mean, that's the reason why I have that segment. This segment every once in a while called the "Stupid Shit I Saw" segment. So, yeah. So that's one game. That's one thing that I saw here that I did want to share with you guys tonight. Now I do have one more stupid story that I want to show here, and this is more stupid as in you really doing this, as opposed to what the heck did I see. Now I'm going to share my screen here as well, and I might have to zoom in here, so let me get rid of this one. Okay, so there's a guy, as Chris Collinsworth Chris Collinsworth would say. The Powerball posted the wrong numbers, and now he wants $340 million. The string of numbers on the lottery ticket that John Cheeks bought matched those on a Powerball website. Had he beat the unfathomable odds to win the $340 million grand prize. Not according to Powerball administrators, who said that the numbers Cheeks saw on the site were part of a test and had been mistakenly posted rather than the winning numbers for the drawing in January 2023. Now, let me tell you this, because one of my first jobs was at a 7-Eleven, and we had a lottery machine. And the one thing that came up when I was there was in the newspaper. Remember those? In the newspaper, you had you had all the newspapers, and everybody was coming in saying, there was one or two people that came in, I won such and such. And I look, and their ticket's not winning, and they're like, the newspaper said those are the numbers. But the one thing that I know that the Pennsylvania lottery does, and I never catch the Powerball or the Mega Millions live drawing, and I'm sure that I can find the video for certain drawings, and I don't know how far back their drawings would be archived, if it's either on the website or on the whether it's on the website or on whatever. But anyways, I know the Pennsylvania lottery, and I haven't watched theirs in a long time. The one thing that they do say in Pennsylvania is unofficial until validated. Now, depending on what the Powerball says, or what they said in January 2023, around the time that this occurred, if they have some sort of a disclaimer that is the equivalent of unofficial until validated, this guy's SOL. And this reeks of whatever. So, he's suing several groups, and he wants that prize. He's suing several groups for breach of contract, gross negligence, and the infliction of emotional distress, among other claims, for not giving him the grand prize, according to documents filed in a civil District of Columbia court. He's asked for $340 million in compensation, as well as damages and interest on the winnings. Court is set to begin hearing the case on Friday, which is, I'm scrolling up for a reason. Okay, this upcoming Friday. So, I don't know how this guy wins. Now, I'm not going to look at the website, because I'm sure that they ended up ended up idiot proofing everything, as I call it. But you know, and Cheeks claims, Richard Evans, which is a lawyer for Cheeks, says this is not merely about numbers on a website, it's about the reliability of institutions that promise life-changing opportunities. Now, here's the one thing. You could have, and I don't want to hit that X because I'll probably knock out the whole article, but the thing is, you know, you could, now I don't know the situation with Mr. Cheeks here. I don't know if he actually, has a computer. I don't know if he has cable or, you know, you never know, because you never know a person's financial situation. And the thing is, and they mentioned in this they also have that, you know, people with lower what's the term that they had on here? Just trying to find it here. But basically what happens is those that are in the lower money brackets of the United States, for example, they tend to play the lottery more or gamble more because they're looking for that quick fix to reality. And ironically enough, when I had my performance review with my manager, and we were talking about me being at the Super Bowl and, well, being at the casino at the Super Bowl and, you know, gambling a little bit each day because I planned for 9 days because I didn't know when I was going to meet my Vegas friends. But he was saying how somebody that he used to work with was with the company over 40 years, and they said, well, why are you still with the company? And she puts her hand about 4 inches from the desk. He goes, I'm sorry, what's that supposed to mean? That's all the credit cards I have and the credit card debt that I have. So they basically maxed out every card so they can gamble. And that's why I always tell you, even though I don't go through the legalese of 1-800-GAMBLER, I bring it to you in a more personal sense of, hey, bet within your means. You know, if you don't have the money, don't do it. Make sure your bills are paid first. You know, all that stuff. I mean, it's nice to win. And even though SJ has been killing it with her her new toy or app or whatever you want to call it, and, you know, if she wants to plug it, if she's paying attention, feel free to do so. You know, I plug all good people and what they do. I even plug these people that are giving me, playing games with me. And I think I know who the one is, but I just don't know who the other one is. But seriously, you know, I just think that the fact that it is that these numbers were probably unofficial numbers and even test numbers, I don't think this guy's going to win. But the test numbers were missing a red Powerball number here, as I'm showing here, that were posted onto the local DC lottery site on January 6th, even before the drawing happened, the group said. They were left there alongside the real winning numbers until January 9th, when workers realized the mistake. Now, I know for a fact with my lottery in Pennsylvania, and I share this picture once in a while, and I think I gotta find it on Facebook. It's like, well, the annuity is worth $450 million, but the lump sum is $61 billion or something like that. So it's like, you know, well, I saw you post that, but, you know, it doesn't stand. It wouldn't stand in a court of law that I catch something because, you do have a right to correct any mistakes, in my opinion. But going back to that 7-Eleven story that I had, everybody kept saying, "Oh, this is the winning tickets." Well, I just ran it through the machine, and then after a while, I look at the newspaper and I look at the numbers. I'm like, "Oh, these are from the Wednesday drawing, or it's from the previous Saturday's drawing." So that's why those numbers are wrong. And you always have to check with the websites, your state authority. I mean, the first thing is, if you win something big, sign the back of that ticket, then go to your local office or whatever the process is in your individual state. But I mean, it just seems like that they may have gone through that process, and then it's like, no, you didn't win. Those aren't the numbers. Those numbers of a mix of birthdays and other special numbers were not the numbers that you won. So Cheek said in an interview that he politely called a friend. And, the thing is, you do, like, for example, I would probably tell SJ if, holy crap, I won. Or I'll be calling my buddy Mike, and I'll be like, I think I hit the Powerball. But I did play a dirty trick on him the one time where we were working, and I said, I hit the Powerball. And he goes, what? And I said, yeah. I won $3. And he goes, you mother. No wonder why he calls me Richard Cranium. But, so the lawyer is saying there's more zeros involved in the case, but it's an obligation that they have, referring to the Iowa episode where they were paying $200 for up to $200 were paid out for a short period before cashing tickets were suspended. Now here's the thing. He said that he was the only person come forward in the drawing for that grand prize. Now here's the thing. If 100 people win that lottery, that $340 million becomes $3.4 million, if my numbers are right. But either way, you get the idea. So, but the thing is with courts, you never know what to expect. And he's probably going to win this, but common sense tells me no way in hell, because, like in Pennsylvania, they have said in the past, unofficial until validated. And, you do have like the accounting firm of Haywood and Jablomi or whatever it is. So, but yeah, it's all in good fun. And, it's all a matter of that. So, and that's, I found it on Yahoo News this morning or this afternoon. But it's actually from the New York Times. So Isabella Kwai is the writer, so I'll give her credit for that. So, so that was the second stupid shit that I saw story. One was a bit bizarre file type thing, if I quote Preston and Steve, and this was just a, why are you wasting our time? Why are you wasting your time there? And hopefully you got the type of lawyer where you only pay if you win, because if you lose and you got to pay, you're probably going to be declaring bankruptcy. So, but yeah, it's, I mean, it's the thing is, I just don't understand people, but I probably would do the same thing. But, I mean, I did have an incident like this where, going back to me being a degenerate, and, I bet within my means, even though I talk a good game and sound like a degenerate, but, a couple of years ago, I would say probably pre-pandemic, so probably about 2017, 2018, maybe even be before that. I was playing the races at Assiniboia Downs, which is in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. I think it's in Winnipeg. or as we hockey fans call them, a peg, because they never win. But the race, the track, you know, I watched the race and my horse finished second. And I look, and my horse is on top, and I'm like, am I imagining things? And mind you, Assiniboia Downs, their lighting is total shit. So I look, and I get paid for my horse winning, because back then I played win in place, and I got like $35 back, something like that. So about 20 minutes later, I look, and I have like $10 in my $10 for the payout. So I'm like, didn't they say my horse won? So I rewatched the race, because that's a great thing about these advanced wagering sites like Twin Spires, TVG, Foam Bet, Express Bet, whatever it is, Naira Bets. You can go back and you can watch these races for numerous years. And I watched the race again. My horse did finish second, even though it's hard to tell because the lighting is crap there. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, they just corrected their error. The track corrected their error, and because I'm betting through a website like this and I didn't take the money out, and you know, I wouldn't have taken the initiative of taking my money out right away, because of the fact that, you know, there were still a couple of races from there, and even back then I was playing more races. So you know, they just corrected the error on the Twin Spire site. But you know, I wasn't going to sue, because, you know, Twin Spires took $35 because Assiniboia fucked up. You know, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal to me. But yeah, it is what it is, and you know, it's just you know, but you know, I admit I probably would have done the same thing if it was 340 million like this jackpot was. But anyway, so one last thing here, and we're going to bring back the Philly Fade as well. And usually I do it on Thursday nights, since I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I am going to do one game that I'm going to pick. And if SJ is paying attention here, and if not, so be it. As I go back here, and I'm going to share my screen for like the 16th time tonight. And I am just going with one basketball game here tonight. I just want to do one thing here. I want to fix that. F11. So I fixed that. Now let me go back over to here. And I got one game to pick. And it's, you know, it's just one thing that I found over the last, well, basically since the start of the conference schedule. And let me go here. Let me find it here. Okay. So I did not do much in the way of homework here, so I'm only picking one game here. SJ is doing stretches. Do I have to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" while you're doing those stretches? Oh wait, it's not completely. It's not the start of the baseball season yet, so I'm not doing it. So anyways, I got one game for you tonight, and I am going to zoom in on this a little bit as well. And a couple of times I have gone and I have played this team. I faded them every time and they won. I even went all in one night and I won with them. So, and here's my whole thinking behind this game, and I'm looking at DePaul and Marquette. Marquette got boat raced by UConn, who got boat raced by Creighton. And by the way, if you listen to the Tony Bruno show on Tuesday, or earlier tonight for those that are watching live, I gave in chat around 3:15 while I was working. I said in chat, Creighton money line over UConn. It's a stone cold lock. Well, I didn't use the term stone cold lock, but I said that's my guarantee winner tonight. And Tim Brando, who is an play-by-play guy for Fox Sports, Tony Bruno actually mentioned my pick, and Tim Brando gave the stamp of approval there. So, and Creighton did win big tonight, and it was just that they came off such a big game, and they won. Creighton won big tonight. Now, here's the thing. Here's my play. First of all, I fade Marquette like everybody should fade the Yankees this year. I'm only kidding, SJ. I fade DePaul every chance I get. But I will tell you this. Anytime you see DePaul, fade them. Fade that line. Go against them. Go against them like the world is against the Dallas Cowboys. Marquette got blown out by UConn. They got embarrassed. You think that they are going to take DePaul lightly after getting boat raced in Hartford? I don't think so. I think this line should be at about 45.5, not 25.5. And if I had money in my account right now, that would be my play, and I would probably go 2, 3, 4, 5 units. But let me tell you this, because I do not want to have you go broke. Bet within your means. SJ says it with her articles on Ball is Life, on the Ball is Life Discord. If you have to bet small, there is no shame in that. When I was in Vegas, most of my prop wagers were $10 wagers. And I had a quote-unquote block square with the Westgate. I played both the 6 and 9s. San Francisco 9, Kansas City 6, and San Francisco 6, Kansas City 9. You know how much I played them for? $3. And some people get scared of this line. 25.5. That is a ton of points. But you're talking about a top 10 team, or what I think is a top 10 team. I'm not going to look up the rankings, and nor do I care. You're talking about a team that has won 3 games all year, has not won in conference, versus a team that is ready to rip their heads off. And I will not be surprised if Marquette sets a men's Big East record for a blowout win here, because Marquette got embarrassed. And how do you rebound from getting embarrassed by the number 1 team in the country? You embarrass a team that probably should not be in the Big East. So my play tonight for tomorrow for the Philly fade is Marquette minus 25.5 at minus 110. Yes, it's a ton of points. But when you look at the situation of what Marquette went through over the weekend, and DePaul just being a garbage team where they got surpassed by Chicago State for DePaul ended up being the worst team in the city of Chicago for a college basketball team. You know, this DePaul team is garbage, and there's 3 givens, well, 4 givens: death, taxes, the Cowboys not winning the Super Bowl, and DePaul getting boat raced in the Big East. So Marquette minus 25.5. That's my play for tomorrow night in college basketball. That's my lone pick tonight for my lone pick for the Philly Fade for this Tuesday night. So so one thing I will do before we close out the show tonight, if anybody wants to add anything to the chat, feel free to do so. You know, fun night here tonight. Maddie is here. SJ is here. We had a couple different people coming in. We had a couple of new followers with Enser and Joey Poon. I guess Joey Poon is AJ. But whoever it is, you know, they were having fun with me, and, you know, I don't mind. You know, as long, you know, you can have fun with me, and, you know, I will give SJ a heads up if she's here moderating, or Brian when he's here, or, you know, as we grow this even more, who will be in charge, you know, who will be doing the behind the scenes stuff. We did have that one person I had to ban tonight. But anyway, so SJ, you still shaking your head at me, or are you doing more stretches? So the good news is I'm off from work tomorrow. Now, granted, I should be working tomorrow, but like I said at the top of the show, I am an idiot. And that is because usually, at my job at least, and SJ also went to a tanning bed and feels like a lobster. And I purposely said is lobster, even though I don't think that Boston Park, the car and Harvard Yard thing goes into where she is in Connecticut or not. But I don't even know what I was saying. The ADD, ADHD, LMNOP is kicked in. Oh yeah, I'm off tomorrow. So just to tell SJ the story because she came in a little late. Usually my job, when you're on vacation, unless you request and you give the clerk a heads up, hey, I need to work this Saturday because I need this day off. Unless something like that occurs, you're usually given the Saturday before your vacation and the Sunday after your vacation week off, before and after the vacation. What happened in my case is I requested off for tomorrow when those sheets became available in our Excel file, the shared Excel file with the shared drive that we have at work. Little did I realize that this Saturday my office is closed. So because it was a holiday week on top of it, so people are getting off from work. They're trying to get that extra vacation day because of the holiday and all stuff like that. The one thing is, with everything going on, you know, because you don't have as many off days available to give, what happened was I ended up getting Wednesday off because I requested it, and I was forced to work on Sunday when I should have been off. So SJ, I gave myself about 3 of these already tonight. I'm going to give this for me, even though I no longer deserve it. I'm still giving it to me. Here's one of those. But the good news is, since the Sunday falls on a holiday week, I have money for working time and a half on Sunday, and I have holiday pay for yesterday for when I worked. So that check is going to look really good when it hits my bank account next Friday, the March the 1st, I think it is, and which is perfect timing because it's rent week. And you know, when I do these Philly Fade shows, Philly Fade segments and stuff like that, I'm always going to tell you, make sure you get those bills in, and I'll even tell you, hey, these are the games that I like, but I'm not playing them this week because it's rent week. You know, because I'm very transparent with you guys. I mean, I'm very transparent with my horse racing stuff as well. And, you know, at the end of January, I went through that whole spreadsheet. And February's not been a good month in terms of horse racing for me. Even though I did hit the first 2 races at Turfway Park last Wednesday, I cashed 3 tickets that were worth $370 some. You know, it made up for some of the losses, and then I gave it away again. I gave away a little bit, but I did make sure I had a nice dinner somewhere. You know, and you know, stuff like that. So, so SJ's a lobster. And something is so brutal. But yeah, but I'm not there to massage you. Sorry, not going to do that. Going to keep my hands to myself. And she smells like burned skin. So if I was there right now, I'd be like this, pretending that this is my mask. Or, you know, when she's Googling lotion. What are you using that lotion for, really? Come on. But seriously, and this is the fun part of the show where we go off the rails. So if you're watching or listening after the fact, I'm afraid to Google lotion and show it. Because if I Google lotion, I'll probably end up on porn. I'll probably end up with Pornhub ads, knowing me. Because I know my Insta stories, because I clicked on a Spotify playlist ad, and I've been adding those stories to my Spotify list. I had for like 2.5 weeks getting these ads, which were basically the same things I saw again and again. And I made the mistake of hitting one of them a couple of days ago, so I got that again. And also another thing, the NBC 10 Philadelphia app still thinks I'm in Las Vegas. Because I got an alert this morning. I got one a couple of hours ago. I did not click on the app, so I know it's there. Well, it was there, but it basically told me that it was going to start raining in Las Vegas in 15 minutes. And the thing is, I'm 20-some hundred miles away from Vegas right now. So when I was in Vegas, I was getting the snow alerts for Philadelphia and the rain alerts in Vegas. So what can you do? But you know, at least it's telling me what the weather is in 2 cities at the same time. I mean, it's not as fun as 2 chicks at the same time, you know.
2 chicks at the same time, man.
But, you know, it is what it is. So I think unless SJ has another story about her smelling like burnt skin or whatever, or if she has anything else to add to the show tonight. I am going to call it a night. I still have my article to write for tomorrow, but thankfully I am going off the board with my pick for with my race for tomorrow. And I wrote the preamble of it this morning before I started work. Basically, I just go by whatever the race of the day is for the daily racing form, and they had Tampa Bay Downs race 9 for tomorrow. I said that's a no-go because I saw on Sunday on Twitter while I was working that Tampa Bay Downs was already off the turf for Wednesday because they were getting a ton of rain over the weekend. So I said, no, I'm not handicapping a race where I'm trying to guess what horses are still in and what horses are not. So I am going to be looking at race 5 from Turfway Park, and I'll see if that magic that I had last Wednesday happens again tomorrow with my single race I'm going to play there. So if you follow me on Twitter at Joe Quills, if you're a Facebook friend of mine, and if you're not, you're lost, not mine. Or you follow me on Threads at Joe Quills, or if you just go to bleacherbrothers.com, you can see my stories. And from what AJ was mentioning when I was pretending to be, oh yeah, I never did tell you about what I did on the Bleacher Brothers show tonight. They wanted people to test the phones. So I claimed that I was trainer John Service from Smarty Jones fame. Why did I say I was John Service? Well, first of all, last night, if you go and find the Monday show on Facebook, on YouTube, whatever, a couple of people called and they were saying that they were in prison or stuff like that. So we had just gotten done with the Uncle Eddie story, even though it wasn't Uncle Eddie, but we were joking around, and I said, oh, fuck this, I'm going back to Florida. So I said, hey, this is John Service. And I said, and they asked me, I think AJ asked me, well, how did he escape? And I said, well, according to what a couple of my crew said, Bob Baffert was on the grounds and he had a syringe, and this horse said, oh no, I'm out of here, and he bolted onto I-95. So, and before you come after me because I said something like that, it is satire, okay? But, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, if you don't know the story about Baffert, he had 5 positive tests, and that's why he's banned from the Kentucky Derby and Churchill Downs for another year. So, but anyways, I am going to call it a night, and I do appreciate everybody that has joined me tonight. SJ, Maddie, the artists known as Ensur and Joey Poon. I think I have an idea who the other person is, but I don't know who. And of course, SJ, because she is a major streamer. And you can follow her on Twitch at I'm a Hot Lobster. That's IMAHOTLOBSTEH. I'm kidding. Seriously, you can follow her on at Sarah, SARA J Gamelli, GAMELLI, and you know, she works her ass off, and that's why her back hurts, because there's no more ass because it fell off when she was working. But seriously, give her a follow, and she also streams on here. She'll be streaming eventually. I gotta tell her to get her ass in gear, because she's got my ass in gear here. Now it's her turn to reciprocate. So, no, I'm only kidding, SJ. You're doing a hell of a job. I know that you've been working your ass off, and and you have the back issues and everything going on right now. So, anyways, I do appreciate everybody, and I appreciate everybody that watches after the fact. I say it every time, but like even with my podcast with the audios, I don't look at the numbers. I look at where the hits are, and I got my usual hits, and I'm starting to get new hits in Canada, and that's what I want. It may be a grind, and it may be an utter disaster in the long run, but I do this for fun, and feel free to hit me up at Joe Quills, and also hit SJ at I Smell Like a Lobster, and we'll go from there. So she is going to get a booster, get up on it, and kick my ass because I'm joking around like this now. But we kid because we care, right? But anyways, thank you all for joining me tonight. I will be back Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Who knows what's going to go on, but I'm sure I'll have a couple more Philly fade picks. Little things here and there just to make it fun here, and tell everybody about me and my show, and maybe we can get to those 50 followers so I can get to affiliate status. That's the term, I believe. And if I'm using the wrong term, it's not on purpose. My brain is totally fried, but I'm going to probably be up for another 4 hours. So thank you, everybody, for joining me, and I will catch you Thursday night at 10 o'clock right here at twitch.tv/Joe Quills. And one final reminder, I am part of Bleacher Brothers. Check out the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network at bleacherbrothers.com for all your sports needs, my horse racing articles and whatever. And apparently I'm getting a lot of hits on those horse racing articles. So have a great night, everybody, and I will catch you Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern.